up, everybody? This is the first edition of Roast My Reel, and my first try at an intro like this. This is very exciting. I feel like I'm at a rock show. So yeah, dude, I want to do this Roast My Reel. I thought it'd be pretty funny. I'm going to go over a reel that I put up last year. Man, my heart's pounding. Why is my heart pounding? This is so funny. Yeah, I just posted a reel last year. It's a little bit cringy, but it was something that I was feeling at the time, and I asked everybody on Instagram to roast it. I thought it'd be hilarious. So a bunch of people responded. It's going to be really funny. I'm going to read these responses, go through these, and then after this, we will go through a few of my more successful reels and break down like kind of why they worked and things like that. And then if people are in the chat, we will go through maybe some of their reels and stuff like that. And then a little bit later, we're going to talk about some stuff that a buddy and I were talking about earlier in regards to just creating things and just making things for the internet, and just kind of like the obstacles that we kind of all face as creators, especially when people have like critical eye toward, what we're doing, or like, they want to critique kind of like, why we're doing what we're doing, or judge us for this stuff. So anyways, we'll get into a lot of that later. And without further ado, let's check out this reel that we're going to roast.
This is why you're miserable. A letter to myself, so that in the future I can watch this for when I feel like I do right now. You're miserable because you've confused the idea of working hard for your goals with doing nothing but working. You're miserable because you decided a long time ago that if it wasn't perfect, then it wasn't worth doing. You're miserable because you're focused on how much better things could be instead of being focused on how good things actually are. You're miserable because you have no patience.
It's like the music and everything.
You're happy because you know you can work hard and still have balance. You're happy because you decided that even though something isn't perfect, you're always learning and you're giving yourself room to adapt and to pivot, which is something that isn't found in perfection. You're happy because you set goals for yourself to keep growing, but you don't let those goals overshadow how far you've already come. And you're happy because you know that everything happens in perfect timing as you become ready for it. Now, future Caleb, stop being a little bitch. Just kidding. I love you.
Oh my God, I love you. So cheesy. Oh my gosh, it's so cheesy. It hurts me. Yeah, I didn't have to dig very far to find one of those that was super cornball. I feel like the entire thing is just so lame. So let's get into some of these roasts. Let's see what people said. Hold on one second. Let me just pull this up really quick. Where did I put these earlier? Oh, here they are. All right, so as I do these roasts, hold on, let me pull the chat down here so I can see. What was the last line? Yeah, I love you? No, it's fine. That's what makes it cheesy. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go through some of these burns, and if they're slightly burned, we're going to just say they're a slight burn, and if they're like full-on roasts, then we'll call them full-on roasts. Wait, can I roast? Yes, roast it, Claire. Try it, bitch. I'll fuck you up. All right, anyway. So yeah, we're going to go through some of these roasts. Let's see. Didn't listen, got distracted by an apparently glasses-needing, long-haired Brad Pitt from Temu. I feel like that's kind of lame. Not funny. Sorry. You're miserable because you have balls dragging across your face during jujitsu. What in the world? People are crazy. Not doing that either. Let's see. Oh my God. I think I clicked the wrong Peter McKinnon video. That was hilarious. That one is fucking amazing. That's so funny. I'm miserable because I'll never get that 60 seconds back. That's not too bad. I've never wanted to braid your hair and eat some ice cream so bad. That's pretty funny. Let's see. You forgot your eyeliner and black lipstick, buddy. No. Die. That doesn't bother me, baby. All right, let's see. Let's go through some more. I want to find another really good one. Wow. Long-haired Temu Ricky Gervais trying to get emo on us. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, he got my ass. That is crazy. That was terrible. There's a couple nice ones too. Oh my God, I sound like you a year ago, so I have some hope in between. That's pretty funny. I mean, not pretty funny. That's pretty heartfelt. This video hit me hard. It's captured exactly how I feel. Thanks, Caleb. Man, people are supposed to roast me. I can't stop staring at your split ends. I'm miserable because I can't get the time I spent watching this back. More? Let me see if there's any more. Hold on, I had a couple people text me too. You're miserable because you need a haircut with your discount grave Dave Grohl looking ass. Oh my god, these are amazing. That last one was Claire's. That's fucking hilarious. Oh my god. Let's see. I know miracles are real because I didn't go blind from watching this reel. Fuck you, future Caleb. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's hilarious. All right, show's over. I'm just kidding. Show's not over. All right, let me get all this shit off my screen so I actually see what I'm doing. Man, that was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. Thanks to everybody for contributing to my roast. That was really funny. There were a few more, but I feel like maybe we'll get to some more later. I did need a haircut really bad, but anyway, so now let's get into maybe we'll get into some stuff that is are kind of good. Some of these reels that have done pretty well. Let me see if I can open this little thing. I feel like I have a burp that's stuck. Anyway, ooh, it faded in. So I'm going to go through like a few of my top reels that I've made, and this is going to live on the internet for the future. So, people come back and want to check out some stuff about what I think makes a viral reel. We'll do that. Here's one that was recently pretty good that I think is going to continue to pick up steam.
Saying just start doesn't work for most people.
I don't know why the colors
It's just not enough. They're stuck in overanalyzing or in perfectionism. And so you have to sit down and have a really honest conversation with yourself. Where will I be in 5 years if I don't? And the answer is probably exactly where you are right now. But if you start, you'll be somewhere different.
It's always so emo. I feel like I'm so emo all the time. So that one is pretty good. I feel like that one was typically when I make reels for Instagram, I'm not really trying to go viral as much. Like I'm just kind of like my formula for reels on Instagram, especially in the last year, has been more about like trying to find stuff that's bookmarkable. Like, so a lot of like information that I'm like, man, if people like just enough to where people are going to like see it and go, I want to save this for later because I need to know what this is, or like this has got some valuable information in it. So that's generally my angle whenever I'm trying to make something do well for engagement on Instagram. But here recently, I've started to try to do stuff that's more geared toward virality or trying to go viral. And typically what I try to think about whenever I'm looking at something going viral is like, is this highly shareable? Like, is this something that people would want to share? And typically what that comes down to is like, is this something that people want to, because when people share stuff, you're basically saying like, I agree with this. Like this is great information. Like I agree with what this person's saying. And you're almost like ventriloquisming. I don't know if that's a word. You're being a ventriloquist. Like you're using their video to like put your words in their mouth or put their words in your mouth. I don't know, put something in your mouth, whatever. You're basically trying to adopt what they're saying and put it out to your audience. So that's what makes it highly shareable. So basically it's like, if you see something and you're like, oh man, I wish I had said that, then you typically will share it because then you're kind of saying it because you're basically agreeing with it. So going back to that reel.
Saying just start doesn't work for most people. It's just not enough. They're stuck in overanalyzing or in perfectionism. And so you have to sit down and have a really honest conversation with yourself. Where will I be in 5 years if I don't? And the answer is probably exactly where you are.
So there's a few things to this reel. So like right off the bat, like as opposed to some of my other reels where it's like a talking head, kind of like this, where I'm just like, hey, so today we're going to talk about this and I'm going to show you how to do this audio thing and blah, 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 blah. I know for a fact that like a lot of people aren't going to share that, or like they're just going to watch it and maybe move on, or maybe they'll save it. Generally they'll save it if it's like a cinematic tip. But whenever I'm trying to do something to go viral is I'm immediately like getting the pace going. I'm like cutting quickly. I'm going to turn the audio off just so that I can continue talking. Maybe I'll just turn it way down. So it's just already more engaging just because I'm cutting on the beat and I'm also cutting like on a rhythm, and it's visually engaging. So there's like a visual hook there that makes you just immediately want to go know what the rest of the video is about. And then the other thing that makes this like highly shareable is the fact that it's a very painful topic. Like perfectionism is a very painful topic. Like I know that's something that I deal with, and a lot of the people in the audience that I have deal with. A lot of us deal with that around creation. And so a lot of people, especially like now, and we'll get into this a little bit later when we talk about kind of like obstacles and limitations around our peers and things like that kind of naysay like what we're trying to do, specifically when it comes to like putting on live stuff like this, where it's like, why the fuck are you doing that? That's so nerdy, or like, that's so weird. We'll get into that, but starting can be the hardest part. And so that pain point of like, just start, I wanted to hit that in this video because there's a lot of videos out there that are like, you just have to start, you just have to get going. And I'm like, yeah, but the reality is most people don't know where to start. So that's kind of what the thought was behind this video. And kind of what makes it a high performer is that high shareability of going like, oh shit, like I have trouble not starting, not being able to start. So I want to share that because I agree with these points. And then, so let's get to the next one.
Here's some lighting techniques that will instantly make your videos more cinematic.
Uh-oh, false start. Okay, let's get back to there. Where did it go? No, this one just wants to be there. All right, let's see. Why can't I see this?
Here's some lighting techniques that will instantly make your videos more cinematic.
Lighting dramatically is one of the most impactful ways to elevate your videos. A huge shift I made that made me way better at lighting was when I started focusing less on just illuminating my subject and started focusing more on creating interesting shadows. After all, shadows are what create shape, depth, and dimension. When I light cinematically, I focus on placing my lights to create contrast and shape, and not just to brighten my subject. So check this out. Here's a shot focused on just illumination versus a shot focused on creating shape and depth. A pro tip is to always shoot on the shadow side of your subject and to use a practical light like a lamp or a window to motivate your artificial light. Oh, and by the way, motivating just means that you're using a light source within your frame, like this window here, as a reason for why your artificial light is coming from a specific direction.
If you want more from the cinematic series, make sure to check out my other videos. And if you want my cinematic cheat sheet, just comment cinematic and I'll send it over to you.
So let's break that one down. So let's go back through it real quick. So first of all, let's just say
here's some
similar
lighting
stuff
that will instantly make your videos more cinematic.
How do I stop it?
Lighting dramatically is one of the most impactful.
Wait, hold on. I want to fucking, let's do it again.
Here's some lighting.
There we go.
Lighting dramatically.
Okay. So first of all, interesting shot, top shot, super sexual. Not really. That's not why. But no, top shot, cool atmosphere, cool lighting. There's like a huge softbox to my right that's like blue, makes it look like it's like nighttime. And then I have that like little, this little Amaran strip light, like lighting that little ray. Just it's a little interesting, you know. The whole video is about lighting, so you got to make the lighting cool. So that's number one. And then going back to like what makes it popular earlier is high cut rate, like basically cutting for retention. That opening image is like really strong because it's different. Usually you're like used to seeing people's talking heads, or you're used to seeing people, naturally lit, like that's their cell phone, like low quality. This is like right off the bat, like pretty cinematic, kind of looks like a movie poster. And that's all by design. And then kind of like a minute ago, I was dancing. This music just makes you vibe.
There's some lighting techniques that will instantly make your videos more cinematic.
Lighting dramatically is one of the most impactful ways.
And then, yeah, each scenario like is lit differently. So that automatically puts in your head, like, I want to see what the next lighting scenario is. If I'm a person that likes lighting and I see a cool lighting setup off the bat, and then the next shot I see a unique lighting setup like this, and then the next shot I see a different lighting setup, like it's clear that I'm going to continue to see different shots and like different vibes as I continue to watch. So that like helps me retain the viewer. And then the other thing is I'm talking about something that's high value in the cinematic world or like cinematography world, trying to create cinematic looking content. So basically just explaining basic tips that you can have by, simple things like shooting on the shadow side and things like that. And then having illustrations of these things while I'm talking about it.
My subject and started focusing more on creating interesting shadows. After all, shadows are what create shape, depth, and dimension. When I light cinematically, I focus on placing my lights to create contrast and shape, and not just to brighten my subject. So check this out. Here's a shot focused on just illumination versus a shot focused on creating shape.
First of all, this color is whack, by the way. This is an OBS thing. It does not look like this.
And depth. A pro tip is to always shoot on the shadow side of your subject.
There we go.
Use a practical light like a lamp or a window to motivate your artificial light. Oh, and by the way, motivating just means that you're using a light source within your frame, like this window here, as a reason for why.
The other thing that I think makes this real interesting is that it's tips, but it's like not. It's not just like, here's tip number 1. It's like woven into the script. So it's like, you know, you want to use a motivator, like, by the way, that just means, it's like very conversational. So I think that helps it as well. And then the last one I want to break down is my pride and joy, the best reel I've ever made. I don't know why I sound like Donald Trump, like weird Donald Trump. Like, I don't know.
So how can you keep things cinematic when you're shooting by yourself? When you're filming for yourself, you can't really rely on things like camera movement to help you make things look cinematic, so you kind of got to focus on the things you can control, like composition. The composition technique that you can use is a frame within a frame. It's basically where you use elements in your scene to draw the viewer's eye to your subject or your point of interest, kind of like I'm doing right now. You could also use what's called a foreground frame to add depth or dimension to your scene. Or maybe you just want to use the frame within a frame technique to convey an emotion for your viewer. I mean, maybe your subject's feeling isolated or trapped. Anyway,
hello.
Hope this helps.
So this one is my highest performing reel of all time. It's like 700 and like 750,000 views, but the conversion was crazy. Let's see. I think that reel has gotten me. And this is something important to remember about virality. Is like people always like make it look like, oh, I know what I'm talking about when it comes to content. You should listen to me. But it's like one video or 2 videos is like what blew their account up and they got lucky or whatever. Anyway, that's just politics. But yeah, that one reel has gotten me 22,000 followers. So yeah, pretty crazy conversion. Usually, you know, it takes like a couple mil to make like that big of an impact. So that's pretty cool. And then this is kind of like what started to lead me down the rabbit hole of like what I do now. Because it was experimentation. I was doing like a 30-day challenge and I was like, man, I'm just going to start posting stuff and just see what happens. And I was like, oh, I'm going to post a thing about, coffee one day. And then I'm going to post this thing. So I was like really in experimental mode. And then one day I was just like, I'm going to post like something about composition. And originally I was going to do like, a video on all kinds of composition. So like leading lines, frame within a frame, negative space, like rule of thirds, like all these different things. And like I was literally writing the script for that. And I was like, this is a lot of information to try to fit into a minute. Like I feel like I could do the same thing with one technique and people would get a lot more out of it. So then I was like, I'm going to do frame within a frame. And the reason was because I was going through downtown Winnipeg. Wait, how do I?
So how can you?
There we go. I was going through Winnipeg. And where I was shooting, and I saw this doorway, and I was like, that's a sick doorway. And I was like, I want to shoot a video in there. Like, I want to shoot a video around this doorway. And so I was like, that'd be cool to just do like a frame within a frame, like sit in there and like have it just be a composition. That just kind of became the point of the video. Anyway, not really anything to do with the virality of this piece, but let's break that down. So first of all, I hit a huge pain point right off the bat, which is like people want to make cinematic content, high quality, like elevated cinematic content, but we're all shooting by ourselves. So it's like a very hard thing to do and like to even think about. It's like you see people post really cool shit and you're like, they have to have a team behind them. There's no way they're doing that on their own. So
how can you keep things cinematic when you're shooting by yourself?
So immediately hitting like a hard pain point that people go, damn, yeah, how do you do that? I want to know. And then the second shot right away, I actually did an interview about this video in Winnipeg with the social media company. And he kept commenting on how the shots were dynamic. And I didn't even realize that about this until he pointed it out. Not dynamic in meaning the camera moves, but like dynamic in the sense that like I move. Like, so if you're using a static camera, a lot of times what you want to do is have things that are moving in your frame to keep it from feeling like, so like I'm an interview and I'm doing this newscast. So jumping on this thing.
When you're filming for yourself, you can't
really
rely on
that's
things like
what the
camera
retention
movement
is
to help
coming
make
from.
things look cinematic. So you kind of got to focus on the things you can control, like composition. The composition technique that you can use is a frame.
And then this is an interesting shot. Like I just an interesting composition in general. I think that like it's a hooky looky.
Within a frame. It's basically where you use elements in your scene to draw the viewer's eye to your subject or your point of interest, kind of like I'm doing right now. You could also use what's called a foreground frame to add depth or dimension to your scene. Or maybe you just want to use the frame within a frame technique to convey an emotion for your viewer. I I mean, maybe your subject's feeling isolated or
so
trapped.
movement in the shot. So similarly, like this shot right here, isn't it just an interesting frame? Makes you go, oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that before. And then the next shot is the same thing because I couldn't think of it. I couldn't find anything else. The sun was about to go down. So I just started pacing in the shot so that you're not just looking at me standing there. If you were just looking at me standing there, it would be a lot more boring. And to be honest, this is one of those videos that like, and this is something just about virality in general, which is, this is one of those videos that when I posted it, I'm like, there's no way this is going to do well. Like why, like this is just whatever. I have to do, I'm doing this 30-day challenge. I've committed to myself that I was going to do 30 videos in 30 days. So I'm going to pull through and I'm going to do this. And then I went out and shot this. It was like just on my list. And then the next thing you know, the shit has been saved or sent 10,000 times and has 45,000 likes on it anyways. So there's like a big guessing game. You don't really know what's going to go viral. And I definitely like wouldn't chase virality because honestly, virality is not something you really want, especially in the beginning anyway, because if you go viral for the wrong reason, then you're kind of stuck in a zone. Like say I just pulled that out of my ass and just did a cinematic tips but I'm really into jiu-jitsu content. I just really want to make jiu-jitsu content. Now I have 20,000 followers who are, what a horrible, nasty habit I just revealed of myself. Now I have a bunch of, cinematography nerds that are following me on my jiu-jitsu account that don't give a shit about jiu-jitsu. And I'm trying to fight the low engagement ratio of like, now I have 20,000 followers, but none of them engage because no one does jiu-jitsu and they all follow me because of the cinematic tips. Anyways, all that to say, like you can go viral, like virality can be bad. And in general, you want a slow burn. You want your content to, be purposeful and you want to have it not necessarily about the same thing, but talking about something that if it were to go viral, you wouldn't mind doing more content about that a lot because sometimes that's what's going to happen. And right now, even though I love the cinematography thing, like I find myself, trying to figure out a way out of it, not necessarily out of it, but just able to post things that are outside of it. And a lot of the restrictions around it are just totally in my head. Like it's not real. Like it's not, no one's imposing this on me, but it comes down to more of like, my things are performing well. My account is growing. Like things are taking off. I'm starting to monetize. I'm starting to make money. Like I don't want to fuck with it. Like I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess it up. And so that kind of pigeonholes you. And that's not why I got into making content in the first place. The reason why I got into making content in the first place was because I really wanted to make stuff that I love. I wanted to make things that light me up and make me stoked and, that I genuinely enjoy making. And so, even though cinematic tips and cinematography and stuff like that is stuff that I love to teach, and I do love to teach, lately I've been trying to get out of the box a little bit, just expand my horizons so that, I feel more allowed to post things that I like. And speaking of that, here's a trailer for my video that I'm dropping on Thursday.
You drive out here for long enough, and the silence starts to speak back.
Yeah, I want to make more stuff like that. That was so fun. What a great time we had in Utah. That was such a badass shoot. Oh, we got our asses worn out though, I'll tell you that. That was exhausting. We were up every day at sunrise, not going to bed, shooting at sunrise, doing fun things during the day, and then making sure we were available to shoot in the evening for sunset. It was gnarly. So anyway, that's it as far as planned content goes. As far as this stream is concerned, now I'm open to just chilling, just chatting, and let's just see where we go from here. There's 3 people in here. I have a feeling I know who 2 of them are. Who's in here? Who wants to chat? What are we talking about? Chick-fil-A? What was 30 count? So much laughing. Why were you laughing at me so much? Yeah, Laura got me a 30 count nugget earlier because she left to go to Puerto Rico today, and she was like, you're going to need to eat dinner, and you got to eat, so you better eat this. No, it's great. She loves me. And she pre-bought me Chick-fil-A by getting me 30 nuggets and a cookie and a brownie. It was delicious. And I'm going to eat it in a minute, probably on this stream. T-Money, are you in here? Who's in here? Make yourself known. Announce yourself. Claire was in here a minute ago and she bounced. Turquoise eyes covering. Oh my gosh. Hello? Is there a doggy in here? I need a doggy. Nogi, come here. Come here, Nogi. I need your powers. Your snuggle powers. He's never too far away. Come here, buddy. Come here, little buddy. You're so cute. All right, let's see. Oh, it says there's 2 people in here now. Let me text Tyler. See what he says. That was super fun. That intro, man. That made me nervous. I was sweating my balls off just like thinking about doing that. It wasn't even that big of a deal. Just an intro, literally. Yo, what's up, everybody? My name's Caleb Spilliards. We're doing this fucking intro again just because it's fun and we're practicing. So yeah, hell yeah. We did the roast already. Roast is over. If you missed it, we could do it again. I don't give a fuck. It's fun. I like this. What else did I have? Oh, this thing. Was this funny? I love that. That's the best thing ever. I'm going to reuse that a million times. Wait, here, I'm going to read the rest of them. Just because I went through, I was a little nervous. I'm not going to lie. I was still in my like out of body experience phase. So I didn't want to read them all. I felt like I was getting boring, but in reality, it was fine. This person said, can't roast it when it hits home. Oh man, I know. Honestly, I watched it. I'm like, this isn't that cheap. It's cringy because of the music and stuff. And I'm like, I'm miserable because of this. And it's like so emo, but the message is there and it for sure is relatable. And a lot of people go through with this. This person said, it's good, man. And I think I read, let's see. You're happy because you just had your beehole licked. Oh my gosh. How does he know? Is he doing the licking? Where is he at? No, did he leave? Oh man. Let's see what else. I'm miserable because I'll never get that 60 seconds back. I think I read most of these. Nogi, come here, buddy. Oh wait, let me get rid of this and pull the next one up. I'm miserable because I sat and watched this whole video. That's hilarious. You're miserable because you paid a homeless person to straighten your hair? What a random thing to say. You're miserable because you can't deliver a line without squinting. That's just the way my eyes are made, asshole. I have squinty eyes. What can I say? It's not my fault. I read that one. That video hit hard. It captured exactly how I feel. I think I read that one too. Thanks, Caleb. You were supposed to roast it. No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the positivity, even if... Oh, I didn't read hers. I'm miserable when I find your contact lenses stuck on the floor. That's so funny. So, funny story. Laura told me, or sent me a video like 3 weeks ago of this lady who almost lost her eyeball by showering with her contacts in, because apparently your shower water can have an amoeba in it. And if it gets stuck under your contact lens, it will bore a hole in your eyeball because it eats corneal tissue for breakfast, apparently. And so I was like, that's terrifying. And of course I asked ChatGPT if that was true. And ChatGPT said, yes, it's extremely true. And that it's a very, very serious condition. And if you get it, you will likely lose your eyeball. And it's rare, but it happens. And I was like, well, I can't shower with my contacts in anymore. And then I realized that probably wasn't going to happen. And also I've been showering with my contacts since I was in 6th grade and it's been fine. So I was like, there's got to be more to this. And then one day I was showering without them and then I put them in right after. And I was like, wait, if I got an amoeba in my eyeball and then I put my contact in on top of it, I feel like that's more dangerous than putting it in and then, water potentially getting underneath the contact. And so then I asked ChatGPT what was more likely to happen in a negative way. And it was like, actually, if you were to get into the shower without your contacts in and then put them in, you're probably more likely to have the issue, because then, wait, what? Who's hating? Who's hating? I don't see any comments. Anyway, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to fucking take my contacts out then if it's worse off anyways. But either way, now I get nervous because if I have my hand, like wet hands from showering or like washing my hands, brushing my teeth and stuff, and my hands immediately have water on them, I don't want to take my contacts out because I don't want to get amoeba in my eye. So I basically wait until I'm in bed and then my hands are dry, and I'll take my little contacts out and put them on my little bedside to just put them in the trash in the morning. And sometimes I forget and they stick to the floor or the side of the bed and I get in trouble. That's what that was referring to. So anyway, long story to say, amoebas exist. They'll get in your eyes and they'll kill you. Wait, who's hating? Who's hating? Am I missing something? Are people hating in the comments? What comments? Hold on, let me go on YouTube real quick. Make sure this is like, we're watching the same thing here. Let's see. Live viewers. It says I have one live viewer. Such bad comments. What are you talking about? Oh, bad comments. Are you talking about that the comments were bad that people were reading? That I was like doing? I asked for it, to be honest. Full disclosure, I knew no one was going to roast me unless I asked, so I sent this to like 20 people and everybody came through and roasted me. So those nuggets were salty. Oh, okay. I was like, what comments? Yeah. They were hating. Here, I'm going to reveal everybody. Tyler said, I'm happy I stopped watching that. Claire said, you're miserable because you need a haircut with your discount Dave Grohl looking ass. Javier said, I never wanted to braid your hair and eat some ice cream so bad. That was pretty funny. He also said, I think I clicked the wrong Peter McKinnon video, and that shit was hilarious. That really got me. Let me just say this. If I could have Peter McKinnon level success, oh man, you can make those comments all you want. So many people hate on Peter McKinnon. They're like, oh man, he's the worst thing that ever happened with photography, and people are just buying up all the film cameras now because he's talking about how he likes to want to shoot film. Shut the fuck up. Like, the dude makes a gajillion dollars. You would definitely do that if you could. I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to make a gajillion dollars on the internet, and do this YouTube stuff for a living and not have to worry about, all the shit, paying my bills, other people paying my bills. Why wouldn't you do that? I feel like people are crazy. Anyway, I'm clarifying what she said. Anyway, yeah, so the stream was fun. I'm looking at this little restream thing, and it says there's 2 people in here, but the YouTube thing says there's 1 person in here. So I don't think there's 2 people. Let me text Tyler and see if he was in there. Oh, I see. Yeah, I was hoping people were going to go in on me a little more, to be honest. They were a little lame. But I think people were scared. They were like, I don't know if I want to roast you too bad, bro. It's like, just roast me. Yo, how weird. YouTube says there's only 1 person in here, but the chat says there's 2. Tyler, what did you think of this presentation? I was a little nervous. So I was a little rambly at first, but you can see what I'm trying to do. You know what I'm saying? With the little buttons and the plug and play, a little cutaways. Was it entertaining? What does Koshi think? What do you guys think? Worth redoing? Worth trying to come up with little programs like this and to continue? Ooh, it's hot in here. I'm gonna take these headphones out now that I don't need to monitor this as much. I just want to see it, make sure the audio was gonna work earlier. Oh my gosh, I gotta take this thing off. Hold on one second.
Do you think it was better than like typical, like what I've been doing? I mean, surely it was, because usually I'm just rambling and not saying shit. This is the funniest fucking thing ever. Oh yeah. I love that shit. It's so good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty fun. And then I made this trailer like last minute. Basically to cut to from the middle of it if there was like 50 people in here. One day there'll be 50 people in here. For now, there's just a handful. Whoa, this thing is slow. Oh, bro. No wonder it's so latent. Oh, man. Went pretty quick in a good way or a bad way? No wonder I was wondering why I'm not like being able to respond to you guys quick enough in real time. It's because I forgot to change the latency on the stream. So the stream is like super latent. Damn. It's got normal latency instead of ultra low. Let's see how much of a latency there is. Check, test. Holy fuck. Dude, there's like 20 seconds. I might have to restart the stream because there's like 20 seconds of latency in the stream, and I feel like it's very hard to interact because you guys say things and then 30 seconds later you hear a response. What do you mean offset the audio? Was it like hard to hear at the same time? Honestly, I think it's a balance. Like I feel like I just need to turn the volume down a little more. I'm going to try something. I'm going to stop this stream and then I'm going to see if I can go back to the scheduled stream and redo this because this is so latent right now. It's out of control and I don't think it's worth continuing when I'm trying to chat with you guys about stuff. So I'll be right back.